Hello, brand new series on the channel called The Cryptids of the States. I don't know if that's gonna stick or not. I don't know. I just came up with that. The name of this series is gonna be The Cryptids of the States. Maybe I might find a better name because thinking about it, that name's kind of garbage, trash. But, it's a work in progress. So for now, it's going to be called The Cryptid of the States. If you have a better name, leave it down in the comment section below. But basically, the whole point of this series is we're going to be going to every state, not physically, but virtually, because I have $35. You really think I could travel America with that kind of money? No. Gas is too high nowadays. But we are going to be talking about, I'm going to be talking about all 50 states, but not only that, the cryptids of each state. So, for instance, example, I'm going to be talking about, the most popular cryptid from Minnesota or Montana, Texas, that kind of thing. So, that is what this series is going to be about. And who knows, if this series does good, maybe I might travel outside America, to Mexico, Canada, maybe even Australia or the UK. Or I could just kind of make it smaller, like cities, the cryptids of Chicago or Miami or San Diego. So if you like this video and you want to see more of the series, leave your support by liking the video, subscribe, and leave a comment of what state you want me to do next. Now, without further ado, we're going to get right into it. And state number one we're going to start off with is Pennsylvania. I know, what a random fucking state. Now, Pennsylvania doesn't have a lot of popular cryptids. They have one of, some of the most boring and uninteresting cryptids I've ever seen. I haven't heard of any of the cryptids in Pennsylvania, but there was one that kind of stood out, and it is called the squonk. Now, to describe the squonk, it is basically a ugly fucking pig, straight up. Read those stories, the ugly duckling, that there was a little baby duck that was butt ugly, not good to look at. This is that, just 1,000 times more hideous, and it cries itself to sleep a lot of the time. But before we get into the squonk, I want to, tell you, the backstory, or, the origin of how the squonk became to be. Became to be? That didn't make any sense. Hold on, let me repeat that. How the squonk came to be. See, I'm a high school dropout. I don't know proper grammar, so bear with me. Now, the first official mention of the squonk was in a book called Fearsome Creatures of the Lumberwood in 1910. But the squonk wouldn't get his official debut till 1939 in a book called Fearsome Creatures. Now, it is said to believe that the squonk once lived in the desert, but migrated to the lumberwoods of Pennsylvania, which, lumber camps were moving a lot in the early 20th century. Back in the early 1900s, lumber camps moved a lot. So if a lumber camp was in the desert and they moved to Pennsylvania, it kind of made sense. Squonks kind of stay in lumberwoods and stuff. So it would make sense that the lumberwoods moved to Pennsylvania. The squonk would follow that to Pennsylvania, where they officially stay and currently apparently are at. Why they decided to move to Pennsylvania of all states, I don't know. Now, a lot of cryptids and mythical creatures kind of change over the years, They get adapted differently or changed up a bit. But the squonk is probably one of the very few creatures that I've seen that actually hasn't changed a lot. He was an ugly pig back in the early 1900s, and he's an ugly pig now. It's actually kind of impressive that this cryptid has kind of remained mostly the same for the last 100 years, because cryptids do not do that. They're changing all the time. If you look at 99% of cryptids back then to now, there's changes, man. But the squonk didn't really change that much, to be honest. So just to give you a little, visual of what the squonk looks like. Oops. Anyway, ignore that. Like I was saying, just to give you a vision of what the squonk looks like, it's basically an ugly pig covered in warts and stuff. And it is always sad. I mean, it is a big crier. Like, it cries 80% of its life. It's kind of crazy. And apparently, if you're good at tracking, these big old tracking hunter people, they can actually figure out where the squonk is, or they could actually track the squonk based off the tear trail, because like I said, it is a big crier. And now that I think about it, me and the squonk, we kind of have a lot in common. We're both hideous creatures. We're not good to look at. And on top of that, we're both big criers. If you're lucky to catch a squonk and you take it home with you, like let's say you put it in a bag, or if you put it in a cage or whatever, you know, if you're lucky enough to get your hands on a squonk, you're not actually going to catch it because it apparently can dissolve into tears. It has superpowers apparently. Like literally, it will start crying and its body will melt. Like, think of like the Wizard of Oz. You know how the witch was like, oh God, I'm melting. And then the witch like melted into liquid. That's what the squonk does. It literally cries himself into a puddle. What? That is kind of scary. I wish I can do that sometimes. I wish I could literally cry myself into like a puddle. But yeah, if you think you can catch a squonk, I promise you, by the time you get home, it's just going to be a puddle of tears. But if you do still want to attempt to catch this creature, the best time to get it is when the moon is at its fullest. I said moon very weirdly. But on a full moon, you know, big old moonlight, full moon up in the sky is the best time to catch this creature, because that's when the creature is at its slowest, because it doesn't want to see its reflection. Because it has been said, the squonks are so ugly, like if they're walking around and stuff, and oh, there's a lake right here, let me take a little drink of water. If the moon is at its fullest, you know, obviously the reflection of the water can come back at them, and if they look into like a lake or something and see their own reflection, they will start crying. Why is this me? Why is this me? Sometimes when I look in the mirror, I start crying too. I'm like, man, that is a tragic thing. I feel bad. The squonk just got the short end of the stick, man. Like, I actually feel legitimately bad for this creature. It is sad, all right, to say the least. And on top of that, apparently it had one webbed foot, because it kind of moved into waters. Like, squonks at one point decided they wanted to be water creatures. And, you know, they evolved to swim in water. But, you know, as you know, water creatures, they have the webbed feet. And the squonk has 1 out of 3. Yes, only one of their foot became webbed, while the other 3 didn't. So they weren't going anywhere. They were swimming in circles, and eventually they started drowning. So not only does God hate this creature, not only does people hate this creature, but apparently evolution doesn't like it either. Bruh, I've never seen a living thing get the short end of the stick in any aspect. It gets tracked by humans because they're interesting, and humans are pieces of shit. They can't leave anything alone. God apparently hates it too, because this creature is so ugly and so hideous to look at. And evolution doesn't like it either. Like, so many squonks drowned because the evolution just fucked it all up. You know? So eventually they decided to stay in the lumberwoods and not go in water anymore, even though they still have 1 webbed foot. But, you know, anyway. Now, this creature may not be popular, but it was mentioned in the song. What is the song called? The song is called Any Major Dude Will Tell You. And it is a song written by Donald Fagen and Walter Becker. It was first released by Steely Dan on their 1974 album. I don't know why album or island came to mind, but it was first released on their 1974 album called Pretzel Logic, and it has a line that says, "Have you ever seen a squonk's tears? Well, look at mine." If I could, I'll try to track down the song for you guys, and I'll play the line from the song in case you guys want to hear it and stuff.
Have you ever seen a squonk's tears? Well, look at mine.
But I don't know, like, I'll try to track down the song. If I can't track down the song, then sorry, but yeah, that was the line of the song. But yeah, so that is basically the squonk. I will say it's not like a popular creature. It's not like a real interesting creature. But people in Pennsylvania, they do show a little love to the squonk. So there is like a mini festival and stuff. Not like a festival, but kind of like a little gathering and stuff in Pennsylvania every August. So every August in Pennsylvania, there's like a little thing they do like about the squonk, you know, kind of like celebrating the squonk and stuff. There's like games, food and stuff. I don't know. I haven't really looked into the festival, but if you guys want me to go to Pennsylvania and go to the Squonk Festival for a video, you know, I'll bring Alex. Me and Alex can go to the Squonk Festival and see what this thing's all about, because I'm kind of curious and stuff. Let me know in the comment section below, and, you know, we'll make it happen. But, yeah, that's basically the story of the squonk. Not the most interesting creature, but there wasn't a lot of options in Pennsylvania. But I feel bad for this ugly creature, you know, I do. So, probably never going to be a movie about the squonk because, like I said, it is not popular at all. But there was not a lot of options in Pennsylvania. But if you guys like this video, hit that like button as hard as you possibly can. Subscribe while you're down there. Leave a comment also. Any, you know, cryptid you want me to cover, you know, or state and stuff. Just leave down in the comment section below the next state you want me to do. And I'll do that state immediately. But, yeah, guys, that's the squonk and the squonk of Pennsylvania. I will see you guys in another video. Bye-bye.